Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat, and today our special guest, Carole Caron with CLAD. And CLAD is an architectural firm that have just finished building a brand new building. Is that on Main Street, Carole?
Yes.
There we go. But you're very well located in front of what used to be the old Hathaways, now Kerrs, and right on the waterfront. So you got a beautiful view from your office. I can't really see it on the screen, but I know you got a beautiful view in the back. So tell us a little bit about your business and why you decided to open up a new office, and explain that a little bit.
Hi, Bob. Thank you for inviting me. Well, the reason we had the building, we have CLAD Inc since 4 years now, and we were actually, the office was above my garage at my residence, and it was getting too small. We were hiring more employees and we had to find a bigger place. And tell you the truth, we looked at so many options. No options are easy. We looked at renting, we looked at buying a land, we looked at buying an existing building, or many existing buildings, but and each time for a different reason it was not working, and I'm happy it did not work because the last option we got on the table was buying this land and build on it. It was not easy because it was potentially contaminated. There was some fill on the land, so we needed to do a lot of engineering work before doing the building. But we know the construction. We know the construction, so it was easier for us to do, and it took a while though to do the plans and everything. But we're really happy with the end project. So now we have more space for our employees, and we have more space to new employees, so we can hire more people as well.
So there's a good point. So you've been in operation for 4 years now. You grew out of the size of the office that you had, so that means you hired more people. And what I hear you talk about is the potential of hiring more. So let's talk about future. Yeah, and I think today is probably a good time to talk about future because of all the uncertainty that's going on in the world. But in your business, you know, things are might be a little bit different, and I'm noticing it too at Thermalwood. More people are calling in the last week or so and doing stuff. So let's talk about your vision of the future and where you think things will go and how things are going to change.
Well,
and you can say this in French if you want to. Also, if you feel more comfortable, I have no problem, and our followers will follow it too. So.
In French at some point. We having the new office is because we want to be able to attract new employees. It's really hard to attract professional, like especially architects in the region. We need somebody who's bilingual. So there's so many criteria that makes it harder to find like competent architects or with experience. And having the new office, we think it's a more attractive way to hire, especially younger architects. What we have done as well, we have hired an architect who's right now working in Winston, and she's working from home. That started actually 2 months before the COVID, so we already had the setup. And I think that what we're living right now, the experience of having people working remotely is going to be something that we'll see more in the future, and not necessarily because of the COVID, but more because it's harder to find like experienced people, qualified people in our region, and they don't necessarily want to move. And so far it's going good with that experience. We were not sure at the beginning. We were thinking, how is it going to work? But so far so good. We use tools that we had that we never used before, like Microsoft Teams. We had that tool that we were not using that now we're using with our employee, the one in Edmonton, but also the one who are working from home. and we're also using Zoom that we didn't use before with our clients. Most of them have Zoom, and if they need to discuss with us, we can use Zoom, and instead of sharing our views, we share the plans, and we can show which section on the plans we're talking about. So it's almost as easy as if the client was with us in the room. So I was pleasantly surprised that it was working well. You know, we're architects, we're very visual, so we need, you know, to really show on the plan, and that's working with us. So I realized that this could be a way for the future to continue to work. I have clients that I've seen maybe once or twice in my life because they live in Ottawa, they live in Dieppe, but they have buildings in Hamilton, buildings in Bathurst, and I find this whole experience is helping us to learn how to work better at a distance. So that's a good experience.
Well, we talked about it a little bit the other day too, and one of the things that working at a distance and being able to use a lot of these tools that we've had for a long time, this is forcing us to use it, but you're not having to drive to Fredericton for a 2-hour meeting, right? So it makes better use of your time, so better project management and time usage there. But the other part too is that you're not putting any more carbon monoxide up into the air because you're driving, so it's better for the environment.
Absolutely. And we also see right now with the COVID, we see a lot of continuing education or training that we can take online through webinar. Living in a region, for me, it was not easy to go to Montreal for half a day to have training. Now we have a lot of choice, so that's one good thing we live right now, and hopefully this will continue after the COVID. Same thing, you mentioned the meetings. We don't drive 6 hours to go for a 2-hour meetings. Also, what we see right now, the province is working towards going paperless with like the bids and the RFPs. It's a really big system. Some province like Alberta did that many years ago, but New Brunswick was still behind, and because it's a big system, it's hard to change, but because of the COVID, like they have to accelerate this.
Oh yeah, okay.
Really going towards paperless, which is a really good news, and I would believe that will stay this way as well. And also, we see a lot of initiative to exchange ideas, and this is throughout the country. Ideas between cities to share like product innovation that has been done, to share service design, adaptive reviews, and share all those ideas. So I see a lot of collaboration between architects and designers as well.
Well, it's amazing sometimes, and we talked about it briefly before starting this, is that you get pushed up in a corner and creativity starts, innovation starts, ideas start, and it's great to see that even in your world that is happening.
Yes, I was talking about that. Like each time, well, this is not our first crisis. Each time we have a recession, when the government do cuts in the construction, it really affects us a lot. You know, in New Brunswick, the government owns a lot of buildings, so if they decide to reduce the budget, it has a big effect on our work. And when I graduated in 1992, that was, I won't tell my age, but that was ago. It was a big recession. So I was lucky to find a job. I did find a job in Bathurst. That's why I'm here, and I moved there. But after a year, I was out of work again. So I decided to go to the college, and I did 1 year of small business management. That course really helped me to open my business later on. So, and after that, I still had no more work. It was like in architecture, it was really not a good year. So I found work in Istanbul, and I spent 1 year in Istanbul, which was a super experience working there for a year, not only for architecture, but for, a cultural experience. And after that, in 2008 was also a really hard year for the
Yep.
construction industry. And that's when I started my own business, because I wanted to stay here and have work. And that was the way for me to do it. There was no other way. So I started my own business. And a few years later, we had another, like, it was not a recession, but there was like changes in the construction with the province. And that's when we started, me and my partner, we started cladding in 2016. So each time we were facing a crisis, we always had like, we had to make some changes, and those changes were always for the better.
So what I'm hearing from this is that, you know, we are going through some unprecedented times now that we haven't seen before, but at the end of the day, you've been able to work your way through this to find better ways of doing things, and that once the restrictions are lifted and future, that the future has a future, if we can put it that way, that that there are opportunities out there, and that we've just created them in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. In the future, what I see as the post-COVID for the construction industry, actually right now there's a petition to have more investment in a transition to clean energy as part of the post-COVID economic recovery plans. So it's really an opportunity to have more investment, to have green building sector
Yes.
to grow and create healthier buildings. So this is a possibility for the future. The other thing is, now with that crisis, we look at architecture on more on a human, prioritizing the human needs versus the densification, or versus having a monument. We're really looking at the need of the people. And another thing is, and you mentioned it to me, is the outdoor. We're not doing residential architecture, but for residential architecture and landscaping, there will be a lot of development for the outdoor, for either residential or parks or cities. And there will be also, this is not good, this is not bad, but this is a change. There will be a post-pandemic design. How are we going to design the airport, the waiting rooms? How are we going to design the hospitals? We already have standards, but there are going to be changes. How are we going to design the open public areas? So we'll see changes. We'll have to look at more at the infection control. We'll have to think about reducing the lineup. We'll think about the circulation, how people will circulate, and technology will be integrated a big time, I think, to solve some of those issues. And the big thing, after the post-COVID, it's an opportunity to rethink everything. It's an opportunity to see, you know, how we can be more resilient in architecture and construction, how we can do something more healthy, more beautiful, more green, more ecologic, and how to be creative.
Well, I totally agree with you, because I think that there's a number of things that have happened since industry has closed worldwide. You know, you see cleaner skies, cleaner air. People are going to turn towards starting to grow more food, so that's going to turn in possibly into more public gardens and stuff that can be built. Your idea of renovations of everything, because if physical distancing, I shouldn't say social distancing, but physical distancing is going to become a criteria in everything that you design. So whether it's new, and we're going to have to find new ways of dealing with that, or it's renovations, as you said, those all have to be done. So looking at it in that direction, there are opportunities for organizations like yours to flourish, because we're going to have to change the way we do things, but also change the way that's already been done and the buildings that are there to accommodate for these new ideas. So you know, I really thank you for all your insight and your points, because it's showing a positive outlook on what we're doing. And also at the same time, want to thank you for creating your business downtown, for putting some more construction in that building that you have, and hiring people, and your thought process of being able to have a new building so you can hire more people from outside to make them come in. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Carole. I really appreciate that for you and your team. And I wish you the best, and I wish your team and your families to be safe and healthy through this.
Merci beaucoup, Bob. Ça m'a fait plaisir.
T'es bienvenue, puis encore, je te remercie. Pour tout le monde qui écoute les pauses qu'on fait à chaque semaine, si vous aimez que c'est que la discussion qu'on a eue avec Carole, passez-les, partagez-les avec vos amis, puis juste d'une façon, ça va remercier Carole et son équipe pour l'ouvrage qu'ils ont fait. So pass it on, share it, like it. It'll show our appreciation for Carole and the team, and it's very well appreciated from our side. And for everybody out there, create a safe space for you and your family. Thank you.